Good evening, everybody. I don't normally make these videos at this time of night, but the kids have just gone to bed, and I've just been having a little look. I've been sort of following it, I suppose, over the last 4 or 5 hours. And really, it's still okay. Everything's still okay. For Bitcoin, I appreciate if people are in a load of like terrible altcoins or whatever, but it's not all bad. In fact, it's pretty good. So this morning I made the video about how this could be like the last long that we do, right? It's the last long for the bull market. Now I put some put some orders in earlier. I've just put they've obviously all been stopped out, but I've just put some more in now because I still believe in what I say. It's just now we've come down to another support. That's basically what's happened. We've lost this support, 120,000. It's unfortunate, and we're now down back to 117,000, which goes back to these tops around here, and then obviously a breakout and a very quick retest and up and away. Not only that though, if we just forget about the trend line anyway, we just move over to a 4-hourly, which is what we're at anyway, and we can see a perfect retest of the 200 simple moving average, 200 exponential here. These are fresh crosses, by the way, so I've crossed back here on the 2nd of October, crossed back here on the 3rd. We're now on the 10th. We've been trending up more or less ever since. We've started to consolidate. It's perfectly normal, especially after this overheated read and this bearish divergence. It's all perfectly normal, right? It was the more obvious scenario that we were going to come down after seeing these sort of things, and now we've come down to a golden cross retest. Now, it's only just happened, but most of the time, the vast majority of the time, you see a V-shape. I wouldn't say the vast majority of but the majority of the time, you'll see a V-shaped recovery from a golden cross on whatever time frame the first time you hit it, and that's just a V-shape to where we came from. Maybe even continuation. This is a bullish trend, by the way, so obviously that's what you'd expect. So that's your 4-hourly. So you've seen the golden cross retest just take place on the 4-hourly. Move over to the daily, and here we see basically a 50 exponential. It's all part of a golden cross too. And the horizontal that we're talking about, that horizontal area of support, which previously, like as you can see, was resistance and support, as it was part of this range that we're in, this little tight range. Two other supports there: 20 moving average, Bollinger Band Center, statistically 65% chance of a bounce from there, and then a golden cross retest on the 50 exponential, which again is roughly about the same kind of stats. Anecdotally, I don't know what the official stats are on the golden cross retests, but I've been doing this for a very, 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 very long time, and it's something that I always like to trade because they have a good chance of success, or at least a decent bounce, if not a V-shaped recovery, and then maybe even continuation. It's very common. That's why I talk about them all the time. And you've also got a trend signal, which is still in play. You've got to get this Chiku span to go dig into and close in or below the price action for it to be cancelled out. And at the moment, it's basically at support, obviously. And if we'd only get worried tonight if we closed below 115,000. It would be the trend signal on the Itchy Cloud on the daily. Over. So that's that setup. So you've got the 4-hourly, you've got the daily. Just move quickly over to the weekly, and there's still plenty of support. It's still a bullish trend, massively bullish trend. We do have the bearish divergence, which again I've warned about over this week. Really, I've referenced it quite a few times, saying that wherever we go now is likely to be the top. So there is a chance this is the top. Let's face it. But at the moment we're above all these supports, coming down to crucial areas and not broken down below it. Although this is only just happening now. But if we did go down a little lower, it would still be kind of alright. You've got the 10 exponential, 115,600. You've got the 20 moving average around 113,000. The 21 exponential around 111,200. And then you don't actually want to go below there, in all fairness, unless you believe in the idea that we actually consolidate, for the rest of this year, perhaps maybe have an extended bull market next year, as in like the 4-year cycle's broken. That's a possibility, but it would require a deeper consolidation based on this weekly, probably closer to around 100,000 maybe. But again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. At the moment, the most likely outcome is that we bounce from either the 4-hourly, the daily, or perhaps maybe even the weekly. So that's that. Now if we just move over to Ethereum, which has been obviously a bit harder hit here. So you've got your breakout of this small 4-week consolidation. We had that. We moved into the first level of resistance, which is fine. We're getting rejected from that. It might be the case that we're coming down to retest the trend line itself. That's not uncommon either. where from the perspective of formation, it's not uncommon to see a breakout and then a retest to the low before you actually move back up again. Now, if we did come down to here, that would be that setup. If we came down any lower, we'd be at a 200 exponential. It's a golden cross, and that comes in roughly at this trend line also, 3,550. If you move over to a weekly, again, that's a daily setup, and it's bullish, right? Because it's a golden cross. It's all bullish trend, if not broken down. We've not flipped bearish yet. So if we move down any lower, we got 3,608 roughly, give or take. It's the 20 moving average, all part of being, in the center of the band. If you're going to take a position or good risk to reward, 20 moving average is going to do it for you, especially if it's trending up like this one is. So again, still a bullish chart despite the devastating look of this weekly candle at the moment. The 4 hours not going to look good, but what I'm trying to point out here is that there are some setups that are worth the risk, and that's one. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but we have been looking at this on the stream probably for the last week or maybe even two, and we have identified that Litecoin is bullish. It's in a sideways range, a series of higher highs and higher lows, but within a range, and if it were to break out from here, which it looks like it's wanting to do, we've basically tested the top of a weekly trend line here, with a pump signal in play on the weekly. If the market just springs back up again, like it probably will, this will break and we move all up here. So, even some charts are still resistant to giving up. Yet, again, we're just talking about, I don't know what this is going to look like in the morning, but for the moment, that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. The S&P down a fair amount, obviously. That's the whole market is responding. It's not just Bitcoin and all those rubbish little altcoins. It's the whole market's responding to this news. But it is just news, right? People aren't just buying trillions of dollars of assets a day. Well, maybe not a day. Well, it might be a day. I don't know. There's a hell of a lot of volume in all markets combined. People aren't just buying all of that in the hope that there will be a 0.25 basis point rate cut at some point between Christmas. They're not doing that. They're not. I mean, they might be doing that as well as having conviction in an upwards trending market, but they're not just doing it for that. There's lots of reasons why you'd want to keep buying this trend. Based on the TA, it's because it's a bullish trend, So the S&P can come down to, 6,500, and find a bounce around there, like it kind of has done in the past. Or it can come down even lower. It can basically come down to 6,335. and still be in a significantly bullish trend. People would have been thinking the same here. We came down to 21, and it's 20 moving average. People might have been saying it here. We came down into it. We wicked down lower, but we basically came here and supported here. They might have even said it here on this savage rejection into the 20 moving average again. They might have even said it here as they came down into the 20 and then did it again. So you can see, obviously it did crash down lower than that, but look, the odds, this is where people get their stats from. How many times has it done this, and how many times has it broken below? Well, it's done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times versus the one time. So it does it more often than not, basically. I'm not going to try and quantify that for you, but it's the majority of the time it does it. And so there's your S&P. One last little thing to think about is that the dollar has been moving up, but on the back of this market dump, it's come down. It's come down. It's closed down below the 20 moving average here. Now this is still a bullish trend on the 4-hourly, but it's even the dollar's coming down. Everyone's just responding. It's an emotional market. So I always try and say on my stream when we look at price action on altcoins, I say, look, this isn't a reference so much of price and value. It's not. It's more of a reference of emotions at the time. More people buying at the same time makes green candles, imbalance of order books, basically, market buys, and smashing sell walls, and it's the same happens in reverse. At the moment, somebody said something, and everybody's behaving a certain way. But the trend is still okay, and it's the trend that I generally would focus on trading, basically. So I thought I'd make this video in the hope that might soothe some emotions. But anyway, that's how I'm taking it. That's how it looks right now. I don't know how it'll look tomorrow, but that's how it looks right now. So the odds are in favour of a bounce, or pretty much immediately, to be honest with you. But if it does come down, there's still a very good chance of a bounce and a reversal and continuation because they're bullish charts. Right, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.